Welcome everyone from YouTube land and Facebook land. What's going on? How's everyone doing? Back to the new 2023. We are embarking on here. We are happy to have you all back. The countdown to school is starting very soon. All right. So this is monumental. So you to prepare and to hear from make the decisions. School, upper school, and all school. So we are very happy to have attended. For all the attending, thank you. And for all the ones that you can our Instagram page to the YouTube live onto as well. You can go onto our Facebook page and see the live stream going on there as well. So there are two different ways to check it out. If you want to help a friend, just share the link to them, okay? So they can check out this live stream. And once it's over, you'll also be able to see the replay, right? Once it's over. So this will live on Facebook and YouTube after this live stream is over as well, okay? So first thing first, my name is Mr. Justin. I am Neighborhood PRE or Parent Relations Executive here at GEMS American Academy Qatar, all right? So some of you have known me, have done tours with me. Some of you have not seen me yet. I have, so I can in our community, okay? And I work closely with all the individuals here on the live stream today, and soon you will meet who they are, okay? So again, before housekeeping purpose, make sure that you can make sure that you can by sharing, have the link at this moment, have access to this. Then any please put chat in the Facebook comment, answer any questions that you have at the end of the live stream. And if it's applicable, you'll probably have an answer throughout the live stream from some of our guests up here today. All right, so without further ado, I want to get into the introductions of who we have on the live stream today. So first and foremost, let's go to Mr. Jordan Shear, and then we'll to Mark Lynch. So we'll go, Jordan, take it away.
Hi, just thanks for the intro, Justin. My name is Jordan Shear. I'm the elementary principal here at GAAQ. This is my third year here. And a bit about myself is I've been in education about 20 years. I started out as a public school teacher in Charlotte, North Carolina in the States, and then went abroad in 2010. I have spent the last, this is my 14th year abroad. I spent the last 14 years. I lived in the Caribbean for a while, lived in Eastern Europe for 3 years, and now I'm here in Qatar. I am excited for what we have going on this year. I think we had a very successful year last year, and this year will only build on that success. We are thrilled that you have chosen us, trusted us with your children and education. We're excited for what
All right, Ms. Amber, you're next. You on
everybody. And I'm the lower school assistant principal. This is my second year in Qatar, and I have loved being here, and I'm really excited to welcome everybody back this year. Prior to being here, I've always worked in elementary school, but I've worked in Hong Kong and back. We're excited to welcome everybody.
You can go in order, guys. You don't have to wait for me. So, Mr. Wessel, go next.
My name is Jeffrey Wessel. I'm the upper school assistant principal, and I am the head of middle school. This is my third year here, just like Mr. Shear. Happy to be at GEMS Qatar. We've done a lot of, I can speak for everybody here on the stream that we're really excited to get this school year started. I think we've got a lot of great stuff in store and can't wait to welcome all the new families to the campus.
I'll go while Mark's waiting. I'm Eamon Gregory. I've been here this will be my 9th year, 4th year as principal. I'm the upper school principal in charge of 6 through 12. Been a staple here at GEMS since its inception for the upper school program. Come from my background as I'm Irish. I worked in Ireland for 2 years before I joined GEMS. And looking forward to starting the new year. And
everybody said admin's working, but I don't have the password.
And then Mark then Mark, you able to introduce yourself?
I don't know. I think he's at the
Technical
moment.
problems.
Yeah. But Mr. Gregory, since you've been here the longest, I think it'd be only right for you to introduce Mr. Mark, since he cannot with the technical difficulties at this time.
So Mr. Mark joined us in 2017, 18. He's been the head of school since then. This is probably 6th or 7th year, as head of school. He's had an extensive career in Switzerland, the Caribbean, and has a wealth of experience. Somebody who's a personal mentor of me and part of the reason that I'm in my role. So happy to have him here. And he's in charge of the whole school and making sure that everybody and everything runs smoothly.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Mr. Gregory. So Mr. Mark is having a little bit technical issues, and then Miss Anu, our fabulous ICT director, there we go. ICT director is helping him at this moment. So we're going to move right along into the itinerary of the program. So first thing first, it's a new year for us, but an exciting year. It's our 10-year school anniversary at the end of this school year, right? So we have opened in 2014, and this is the 10th year once we end this school year, inshallah, all right? So this is a monumental year in terms of landmarks, in terms of where we're going and where we have come from in our school. Again, Mr. Gregory, I'm going to pick on you since Mr. Mark is not available. You've been here the longest as a resident staff member. Can you talk a little bit about where the school has come from since you've been here?
Yeah, we sort of joked when Mark joined the school maybe 18 months after I'd been there. When you walked in, it looked like a hospital. It was essentially just a blank canvas. We didn't have like spirit days. We didn't really have an identity or any sort of real direction early on in those days. But since then, we've evolved into offering some of the most AP courses in the country. We're a pure AP school, advanced placement program school. We've got sports teams that are super successful now. We've only really had those over the last 5 years, 6 years. So there's been just so much growth, and we continue to grow every year and change. It really was a blank canvas when we started here. And we grew, even in the last 3 years. I was just talking to Mr. Wessel about 3 years ago, the upper school program only had about 420 students. And now we've extended and we're looking at like 720 students. So that's the growth that's happened over 3 years. And with that just comes a wealth of different opinions, experiences, cultures. All of that's been used to really develop the school into what it is now. And honestly, I think we're one of the best schools in the country. So happy to be here and happy to have been part of the whole development over those years.
And I would also say too, as well, I've been here for almost 6 years, and I'm really proud to see exactly how much has been done. I'd be honest with you, when Mr. Mark had become the head of school, things changed for the better. The trajectory of the school went up, right, through the moon, right? So we really owe it to him and his leadership, because he's been steering the boat for the last 7 years. And then a lot of things have changed since he's been here. So again, 10-year anniversary, this is a big milestone for our school. We'll have more information on that throughout the year, but just wanted to let you know exactly where we are, and so you can celebrate with us, right, throughout this whole entire year, okay? So we're going to move on to the next topic, and I think this is a topic that a lot of the parents and students want to know. Student orientation, the expectations and the dates. So before I go to Mr. Jordan, the first thing first, you should have received an email from me yesterday, a comprehensive email. about 4 pages long of different details and news, updates, activities, things of that nature that you can get into before the start of school. In this informational emailer, you also have received the first 2 days of orientation schedule, the expectations and things to consider as well. Okay, so before we do that, just let you know it is in your inbox. It was sent to the primary email address of your family. So please check with your spouses, parents. If you haven't received it yourself, just make sure one of you have received it so you can review it well before school starts. But you're also going to receive some of the information here. So without further ado, Mr. Jordan, if you can overview what's going on with elementary in terms of expectations and dates for orientation.
Happy to. Before I do that, Justin, I believe Mr. Mark has resolved his tech issues and he's waiting to be let back into the stream.
Thank you for being my help. I will let him up now.
Here to help. So sure, I'm happy to talk about orientation. So for elementary school, so this is everyone from pre-K up through grade 5. We are going to be holding our orientation on Sunday, August 27th. Now, this is not going to be a regular day of school. There is no transportation all day. There is no bus service. On Sunday, the 27th, we are asking parents to bring their children to school for a period of about 30 minutes. The idea is that you can come in, go to your child's classroom, meet their teacher, see the environment in which they'll be learning, and then go back home. It's meant to be short, informal, just a way to kind of get your bearings, see the building, meet the teacher, meet the staff, and then go home and prepare for the next day. So again, that's Sunday the 27th. There will be no bus service. Please do not come to school in the morning and drop your child off because there is not a school day schedule or a program for the day. It's just a quick informal chat with your child's teacher. And then so you can come in with a bit more information and knowledge the next day. So that's basically what we have planned. And again, that is from pre-K up through grade 5. And that is, anytime between 7:30 in the morning until 12:30 in the afternoon. That's the hours we're looking at. So at some point in there, drop by for 20, 30 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. And then for upper school, I don't know if you guys want to split it up from middle school to high school or if you guys are doing it as a unit. But for upper school, Mr. Wessel or Mr. Gregory, what's going on in terms of orientation, expectations, and dates?
So we will be doing a new student orientation on the 27th. So that's all of the new students to the school who are new enrollments. I think there's over 100 new enrollment students this year. So those guys will come in and it will be a full day. I think at this moment, I'm going to get more information. We're still waiting on our returning staff and a lot of people who are the key instructors into what to do that day. But the 27th is going to be for them. And then the 28th is when returning students and the new students will all start. And that's going to be orientation day as well, where they'll learn about ALMA, they'll learn about new changes in the school, they'll learn about the uniform policy, behavior policy, academic policies, everything that's, specific to their grade levels. And we have some exciting changes in the building and stuff that are going to be really, for everybody, that are going to be really useful over the next coming year. So excited to announce those. But all of that will be previewed over those 2 orientation days. I haven't picked a date yet or a timings yet for the new student orientation, but I would predict it probably would be the full day from about 7:30 until about 2:15. So we'll get back to you once we have decided that. But yeah, that's pretty much, and all new schedules and whatnot, that'll all be released in that time frame.
Mr. Gregory, I have a question about for middle school and high school, actually. When a new student comes in, or even a returning student comes in to look at their schedule, how much of opportunity will they have to change something in their schedule if it's after the time they meet with you or Mr. Wessel? Do they have time to do that afterwards? What about AP? Do they have a grace period for AP if it's not working out for them?
Yeah, we got a flex time. There's probably 2 to 3 weeks. We'll set a date and a time for that. That'll be on my student bulletin with all that information. I haven't picked a date right now, but it's usually 3 weeks. And the idea there behind that is we want to be flexible. We want to make sure that the students get exactly what they want. They want to be in courses that they're successful in. Again, we're very popular this summer. There's a lot of new enrollments, and some courses are going to be full, and we have class sizes that are capped. We have a 98% success rate when it comes to students getting the exact schedule and courses they want. That does mean there's still that 2 to 3% of students who don't get what they want, and we have to be a little bit flexible in that need. But with all of the new enrollments, I will meet with each one of them, or me or Mr. Wessel will meet with each one of them personally to go over their schedule to make sure that they got all the courses that they want, and we'll review their backgrounds and their transcripts and all of that in that process. With returning students, I'm a little bit more strict with it because they've had an opportunity for 3-4 months to fill in a form to pick their classes for the following year, and I use that data to build the schedule. But if they have valid reasons as to what they want to do, for example, if a 12th grader has decided over the summer that they're really interested in engineering and they need AP Calculus and they didn't pick that, I'm willing to put them in AP Calculus and make sure they get it, because at the end of the day, them getting into university and being successful is our goal here.
I do have a question for you from a parent, because it's actually applicable to what we're talking about now. So I'll put it on the screen here. Should be shown. There we go. What time should grade 6 new students come in on the 27th?
We're going to start at 7:30. I'm going to make that decision now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, so thank you for that. Mr. Wessel, is anything that you want to add to this conversation before we move forward?
No, sounds to me like Mr. Gregory's got it covered. We look forward to seeing the new students. There's a lot of information. I know that some returning students are going to want to try to show up because they're just that eager to get back into school and get started. But we're going to ask them to hold off till the 28th. Just the new ones on Sunday, the 27th.
So I have a little lag. So if you see that I'm not responding, that may be the case, but I'm okay now. But thank you, Mr. Wessel, for that clarification there. All right. So I hope that helps all the families in terms of the orientation schedule and expectations. And it's also supported in the emailer that was sent out yesterday to the primary email address of each family in our school. By the way, we are having technical issues with our email client. I have been in contact with corporate in terms of fixing that email issue, a school-wide email issue. So I am manually sending the emails from my email account. Usually they come from communication_AAQ, but I am manually sending that out. Because of that, this is why it's only going to primary email accounts. Once the issue is rectified, it will be sent to the primary contact, secondary contact, and guardian. So this, until further notice, you'll see emails coming from my account at this time. All right. So next, we will move to early years and elementary in terms of how can parents help their students prepare for school and how can they be prepared for what's to be going ahead. So Jordan or Amber, if you could take this subject, and we'll move to Mr. Wessel and Mr. Gregory for middle and high school.
Sure. I'll go ahead and start, and then I'll let Amber fill in anything that I may have missed. I think, to prepare, the best way to prepare, well, let me talk about early years first. I think the best way to prepare for early years is to, work with your kids and have them understand that it's a long day, right? For a lot of our students, our new young students, this is a long day. It is a busy day. They will be tired. It is, for many of them, it's their first time in real school, first time away from their parents for an extended period of time. And so it's going to be a change. And so I think just talking them through that and what they can expect when they come in will go a long way. As you may know, our early years program is divided kind of into two parts. In the morning, we have starting from 7:30 until about 12:30. We have our formal academic part of the day. That's where they're going to be doing their learning, their supervised play, their centers, their specials. And then at 12:30, we do ask that parents try to come pick up their students because that is the end of our formal day. And again, it's a long day, but if you are unable to come pick up your children at that time, we do have a nap in the afternoon. And so if your child is going to be staying in the afternoon, prepare them and let them know that they will be taking a nap at school. And it's okay. They're not going to be the only one. There are lots of students taking naps at school. And so to let them know that everyone kind of is going to be in the same boat. For KG2, I think preparing your students that were here for KG1, it is a big change. Now they've entered into what we call the regular primary or regular elementary education. It's an academic program. They're going to be learning to read and write and do math. It's a much longer day. So that's going to be a transition for a lot of our kids. And then for the rest of the elementary, I think it's just, kids are always worried about the same things. They're worried about, will they be with their friends? Will their teacher like them? Will their teachers be nice? To those questions, I can say, of course your teachers will be nice. We don't hire mean teachers here at GAAQ. Your teacher will be nice. You will be with some of your friends, but others will be in other classes. And that's just the way it is in elementary school. Sometimes you're going to be with some friends and sometimes you won't. But it gives you the opportunity to make new friends and to expand your circle. And so I think that is just a good way to get them ready. And, to encourage them to come in with an open mind, I think is the last thing. Come in, it's a new year, it's a new start. And so I think all students should be excited to come and start the year. Yeah. Amber, did I miss anything?
Yeah, I'll just add to it. As you mentioned, it is a long day for a lot of our students. So even starting now, regardless of whether your child is entering pre-K or going to grade 5, getting them back into that routine of school. What time are they going to bed each night? What time are they waking up each morning? Practicing putting on their shoes. If they're tying their shoes, making sure they know how to tie their shoes. Or if it's Velcro, making sure that the Velcro is attached. With the little ones, especially starting some of those routines at home of maybe teaching them to eat out of a lunchbox. How do they open their lunchbox? How do they close their backpack? How do they pack their backpack each day? Just really getting into those routines and procedures now so that when it's time to start school, they're excited about it and they have some experience around it. And I think also as much as possible, coming to the orientation, coming to the open house, because getting a chance to meet their teachers, see their seats, see who's in their class, that'll get them really excited and make the first day a lot easier.
Yep, sounds good. Upper school, you're up.
I'm going to link on to what Ms. Amber said. It's also probably a good idea for 6th through 12th graders to get into a bit of a routine before they come back. I know that's more of an elementary thing with sleep time and whatnot, but it's always a healthy option to get the student back into the routine. I myself right now I'm struggling with jet lag, so I know trying to set that time when I go to sleep and when I wake up has been a battle over the last few weeks. So if you're even a student who's traveling back closer to that timeline, it's very important to get your sleep and your circadian rhythm back into process, because you need to be awake and ready to go and focused for school. But for us, a lot of the things are going to be in orientation. If there's new things coming up, being prepared. Honestly, the uniform is probably one of the things you can do right now, is to come in and get your uniform early and make sure you have that ready to go for the beginning of the school year. And then I think just enjoy the last few days of summer before you come in. I think it's very important for our students who have a little bit more higher content throughout the school year. It's going to be expected to work throughout on continuous assessments and whatnot. I think it's always good to have a little bit of a break, so they enjoy the next week before we get into the routine. But if you're struggling in English or you're going into a maths course that you feel like you're going to struggle in, or there's some sort of course that you're taking that you might be need to work on, it's probably a good idea to start thinking about some of those extra programs that are online, reading up, and just getting back into a routine and getting all of your systems in place. But yeah, that's honestly, Mr. Wessel, is there anything you think I missed?
I just might add that just a reminder, especially for new families, we are a bring your own device school in grades 6 through 12. And so you're going to want to make sure that you've got a laptop that's functional. Probably the most frequent question is, can I use my iPad? And I think that what we'll say is just keep it simple and say, no, it's not going to work. You're going to need a functioning laptop, whether it's a Mac or not. It doesn't matter. You can have a PC or a Mac. It'll function fine. And we're going to help you make sure that you can log in and get all those things sorted out in the first days of school. But make sure you've got a functioning laptop and you're ready to go. Other than that, I just reiterate what these others said. Get into the routine as soon as possible. Sometimes it takes a little while to get the brain functioning on full capacity after the nice, relaxing summer. So maybe pick up a book right now, get your brain cells firing again, and we'll see you real soon.
If I could tack on one thing real quick, it's just about coming on time. The school year, the regular school year begins. We have orientation on the 27th, but we begin with our full regular day program on the 28th. It's important to be here on August 28th. I know a lot of families are still traveling. I know that some families are waiting for QIDs, and those are extenuating circumstances. But if at all possible, please do your best to be here on August 28th. This is the time of year that we establish routines. Your kids get used to the way school works. They learn about their teachers' expectations. So those first couple of days of school are really important for everyone, new and returning students. So please do your best to be here and be here on time in the morning. Early in the morning is when our students are at their best. They are their sharpest. They are their most alert. And so, we hate for them to miss some of those really important subjects in classes first thing in the morning. So please be here on August 28th and be here on time. School day begins at 7:30.
That's a good point. Good point as well. I think I would just say in general, just, kids and parents and everyone just have a positive mindset, open, positive mindset. If you don't have that, you'll be very surprised how much your mind dictates your behavior. So that's all I would say to the kids and the parents. Just be open, be positive, let us know if you have any questions, concerns. This is what we're all here for. Okay. So don't be shy. We're going to be here and do this together like we always have. All right. Let's move on to the next subject here, which is notable personnel and programmatic changes. So I know it does say lower school and upper school, but I think it's only right that Mr. Mark can set the tone from a school perspective. And then from programmatic, Jordan, lower school go first, and then Mr. Russell and Mr. Greg can go afterwards. All right. So Mr. Mark, can you let us know what's going on in the school from a school year perspective? And if you can touch on the 10-year anniversary that we have going on this year.
Yeah, let me start by saying apologies for the technical difficulties. I was on a different internet site, for lack of a better term, and I couldn't get switched. So I disappeared for a little while, but I'm back. So apologies for that, folks. If you haven't met me before or heard me speak before, my name's Mark Lentz. I'm the head of school, which means I oversee the school K through 12 from an educational standpoint, and also operationally, in terms of all operations. So from that perspective, there is a lot going on. We have had a massive amount of change over the summer. We put in a new canteen. We revamped our early childhood area. We're about to have our pitch completely resurfaced. We've had the stairs redone. There's just been a lot of summer improvements and summer work. So really excited about returning staff or returning students coming back and returning parents. And I hope you see all the sort of surprises, if you will, that we've done over the summer. We've got some new curriculum in lower school that I know you've heard us talk about, which I think is our new program benchmark is much more appropriate for our student body. I think our former program Readers and Writers Workshop was geared more towards Native American English speakers who live in America. This is much more tailored towards international students and students who are not necessarily native English speakers. So really excited about that. Middle school and high school, last year was the first year where we stopped solely referring to it as upper school, and we tried to create a separate middle school program, recognizing that the needs of our middle school students are a little different than our high school kids. So we're going to continue to work on that. Our house challenges, am I wrong, Jordan? Are our house challenges going to 5th grade this year?
That's a work in progress. We would love to see the house system extend down into elementary. It's not in place yet. So all best I can say for that is stay tuned, and we'll see if we can make that happen.
Okay. Similarly, Mr. Wessel, is that moving into grade 9?
It's going all the way up to 12. Hopefully, we're gonna bring the house system into high school now after the success last year in middle school, along with all the other personal events that we had anyway in high school. But yeah, we're going to have advisory and a house system in high school for the upcoming year.
Excellent. Yeah, the SLT have been back for almost a week at this point, and our new staff had their first day on campus yesterday, and I'm really excited about the teachers that we have this year. So lots and lots of exciting things going on from an organizational standpoint. And you asked to talk about 10 years. This will be our first 10-year anniversary. You only get one of those. After that, it's a different year, right? So we are really excited about this 10-year anniversary. We have lots of tentative plans in place. All of those are works in progress because we are at the beginning of the 10-year anniversary. I can say that we want to end this year on a bang and have a big all-community celebration of some sort. Exactly what that will look like, you'll hear a lot more about during the year. But yeah, it's really exciting. And I think perhaps even more exciting is the number of students for whom this will be their 10th year, who have been here the whole journey with us. And that's pretty cool. So there'll be some special recognitions there. And we have a few staff who fit that bill as well. So there'll be some special recognitions there. And for those of us that joined a little bit after, well, we'll just look forward to being here until we're here for 10 years as well. So lots of great things to look forward to. And I believe with that, I've answered what you wanted me to, Justin. Can I say any more, or do I need to say any more?
I'll come back to you at some point during this live stream. Don't worry.
You're not gonna let me stop.
Yeah, I'll come back to you. But what you said was appropriate, very perfect. So we'll go to Jordan and Amber for lower school, and then after that, upper school, you can proceed. So Jordan, take it away.
So yeah, I think Mark touched on it briefly, but I think the biggest change that we have for elementary this year is the switch from the Lucy Calkins Readers and Writers Workshop to a different program, which is known as Benchmark Workshop. This decision was not made lightly. Lucy Calkins Readers and Writers Workshop is a program that is used all over the world. It is universally respected. But as we really dug into our reading and writing and literacy data last year, we realized that it really was not the best program to meet the needs of our students. It was lacking in a couple key things for language development, which again, as Mark mentioned, the bulk of our population are not native English speakers. And they need a certain set of tools in order to make sure that they're successful. And when we looked closely at it, we realized that the Lucy Calkins Workshop really doesn't meet those requirements. After an exhaustive search, we did a full program evaluation of 4 or 5 alternatives. We brought it to the staff. We had many meetings and discussions and took a vote on it. And in the end, we opted to go with Benchmark Workshop. I think it's a really unique program. It follows the similar setup as the Lucy Calkins model, where the kids are responsible for a lot of their own learning. They're working independently a lot, but it does provide more support from the teacher, again, in those key areas like phonics and grammar and language development. Our staff is excited. We are excited. We were also able to adjust our daily schedule slightly to allow some additional daily time for literacy instruction, which is key. So yeah, we're excited. I think we've got a great program, and I'm hopeful that you'll see the results in your students' learning.
And another thing that we really like about Benchmark is that it's got a common theme. So there are about 10 themes that your children will study throughout the year. And these themes are the same across grade level, but then there's a different question that the students will inquire into. So the first unit that kindergarten through grade 5 study is life science, and they explore that with literature. but then each grade level will have a different essential question that they study through literature. And we also have mystery science this year, so our teachers are excited about that. And that'll be a way for students to do more STEM projects in the classroom and for us to make sure that we are integrating science across the curriculum.
This is great to know. I didn't even know some of these things. So wonderful things, Jordan and Amber. I know you've always been working since last year on these things, right? So it's good to see it come to fruition. Mr. Wessel, Mr. Gregory, I'm excited to hear about upper school because you guys did some wonderful things last year. Especially Mr. Wessel, you brought that excitement into middle school. So I'm gonna let it go to you first. All right. So what is going on in middle school? Then we go head over to Mr. Gregory.
Middle school, I think that we were so successful in what we did. We got high school sort of taken on some of what we've done there. So especially when it comes to the timetable, a little bit of a change there. I think we started to introduce that to our students who are coming back. We told them about it last year. It's interesting. It's a little bit different, and I'll just wait until everybody's on campus. But basically, the middle and the high school schedules are going to line up again. This is supposed to be about notable personnel and programmatic changes. We had some teachers who had been here for a long time, beloved teachers, and they moved on to new adventures. That's the nature of working in these international and transient locations like this. But we've, like Mr. Lentz said, yesterday was the first day with new staff. We all feel really, really enthusiastic and positive about the new faces that our students are going to see. And this is, a real testament to the kind of environment that's been built here. And I'm happy to have been part of this the last 3 years. But we got teachers, there are going to be some familiar faces. So teachers who were here for a while, went on to new adventures, and then couldn't help themselves and they came back. So some good, exciting stuff. As far as program, Mr. Gregory hit on it a little bit. We've got that advisory program stretching up into the high school. It's just, we really feel like this year is primed and ready to be a great success.
Yeah, the only things I can really add from what Mr. Wessel's added on there is there's always new courses. There's always a little bit of a cycle of new courses coming in. Like we offered AP French last year, but no students took it. This year we have AP French. There's other school courses like we've had a big outcry for economics and a business orientated course. So we've introduced economics into the high school. But there's multiple other ones that I can't think off the top of my head because, we're always changing and adapting to what our students' needs are and what they're asking for. The one that I'm proudest of, and I think we're honestly the only school in the whole country that are going to be offering this, is the advanced sports program that's in 11th and 12th grade, where if you're gifted in either football, basketball, or track and field, you can take that as a class. So you get 4 to 5 hours of class time a week focused on if you're serious about being a football star, this is sort of the school to come to because you can get into that. And again, it's about encompassing that student athlete and making sure that they can be successful. We've already attracted, I know from the enrollment conversations I had before the summer, a few Qatar national team players for the soccer team. And that was built on the success of the football and the basketball teams from last year. And again, coming from the students. And I think it's going to be a really unique experience that I'm excited about over the next year to see how it develops. And I'm looking forward to pulling and attracting some talents from other schools and telling them, if you want to play football and you're serious about it and you want that, that time in the week to train built into your school schedule, GAAQ is the school to go to. So I'm hoping to eventually take over and win everything in Qatar, sporting wise, and help the directors and everybody on that. But maybe I'm being too optimistic, but I'm enthusiastic about it and excited.
Listen, with that new contract that Neymar signed, and the contract that was offered to Mbappe, I'm about to go start training in soccer and football, right? Get myself in shape because I'm trying to get $770 million euros, right?
Yeah, we should call it Project Mbappe here as well. Instead of the advanced PE program, it's Project Mbappe, Project
that
LeBron.
changed the game. It changed the game.
Hey, Justin, I think, Eamon, aren't you having a game next Thursday? You're invited, Justin.
Oh, I'll referee. I'm not in shape to go out there and run 90 minutes. I'll referee, though. Take some pictures, But thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you all for the updates on what's going on. It's a very exciting year. I try to tell the families, but I think they see it too. That it's a lot of stuff going on, and we have some stuff under our sleeves as well. We haven't told everything yet, so I think it's really a good, exciting time. So we're going to move forward. This is going to be very quick here for lower school class lists. Parents want to know where the kids are going, how they're getting, assigned into homeroom classes and things like that. So, Mr. Jordan, can you give us a quick update on what's going on with that?
Sure. It's a relatively short answer. Class lists will be released at the end of next week, a week from today. You should be receiving an email from your child's teacher a week from today, welcoming them into their class, so that when you do come to orientation on Sunday, you'll know who to go to and who to see. And that's basically it. That's pretty short answer.
That's the one I wanted. So very short answer. All right. And then for upper school, about student schedules. I know we touched on it before, but quick 1-2 sentence about student schedules.
So as soon as you get access to the student management system, which is called ALMA, and new parents, there'll be an introduction about to that in the back to school night on how you can get access. But students and parents have access to ALMA, and that will have the schedule. And as soon as August 27 happens, that schedule will be available then for new enrollments and returning students. The new enrollments will get their access and all of that on the 27th that day. So it's very important for them to bring a laptop in. They'll get their Gmail and they get access, and then they can see what their whole schedule for the week looks like. So it's August 27th is the official release date for the schedule.
Okay. So yes, essentially for upper school, when the kids come in on the 27th, they will receive their class schedule because they have to finalize it with the principals. And just for everyone, depending on what curriculums you're coming from, elementary is a little bit different from upper school because elementary does have a classroom teacher for their kids, where in upper school, they do not have a classroom teacher, right? They go directly to the first period class. There's no homeroom teacher. So it's a little bit different setup. So that's why in upper school, there's no class list in terms of a homeroom teacher you're getting an email from. It's a collection of teachers they have throughout based on the schedule that they have for the school year. Just a quick distinction. All right. So thanks, everyone. We're going to move on to school bus transportation. And so with this question, anyone can answer this question. Maybe Mr. Mark wants to answer it. But with school bus transportation, when is the bus service actually starting? Because we have orientation. I know we went over it before, but just so everyone, in case they came in later on the stream, when is the school bus going to be in full operation for our students? So Mr. Mark, do you want to go ahead and address it?
Yeah, happy to. Good question. Because the 27th is an orientation day, we will not have school buses on the 27th. So again, lower school parents, we are asking you that you only come for that half an hour Mr. Jordan mentioned. At any point in the window he mentioned, and that you come with your student so that you get to meet the teacher, and that your student gets to meet the teacher as well. As they mentioned, upper school is a little different. It is in lower school, that's for all students. In upper school, it is only for new students. And I know my students really well. If I offer buses, all of my returning students are going to jump on there, and it's going to kind of mess things up for my new students. So we want this to be a time when the new students really get the attention that they deserve. So we are asking new orientation parents in upper school to drop your kids off at 7:30, as Mr. Gregory mentioned, on Sunday. And then, sorry, you asked about buses. Buses start on Monday. Monday the 28th.
Okay. There we go. So I think that will help parents a lot. I know we went over it before, but Mr. Mark, thank you for giving that reiteration of when the buses will start. For parents as well, in case you have any questions about the bus, just email me. All right. Because when I say questions, it's more about registration. If you haven't registered yet and you want to register, just email me. I'll get it over to STS because their email had changed. So I'll get over to STS just to make sure we can facilitate that request. So if you don't have the bus service yet, but you really want to register for the bus, you can freely come into our school before school starts, or you can email me and I can facilitate that on your behalf. All right. So the next topic we're going to move to outside of the bus service, we're going to go to finance. These are about overdue fees, outstanding term 1 fee payment, and what does that mean in terms of starting for school. So Mr. Mark, if you can go over this as well and what these implications mean for the start of the year.
Yeah, happy to talk about that. We are all educators here, and we are here to provide quality education. I am not a finance major, and I don't really love talking about the money aspect of things. But we are also a business, and we have to pay the bills and pay our teachers. And in order to do that, we need to get those tuition fees because of local labor law, not labor laws, because of local MOE laws and policies and procedures. I have to say this. I don't like saying it, but I have to say it, that we can't let your student to attend school until you've paid those enrollment fees. You have to have enrolled your student, and you have to pay any back fees. So that is something we have to request before your student starts. If you owe any money, if you don't owe any money, don't worry about it. If you're not sure if you owe any money, you would have gotten a plethora of emails and phone calls from my finance department at this point. If you owe any money, I'm sure you know it. If you do, all I would ask is that you don't bring your kid in that first day of school if you haven't paid those fees, because it puts all of us in an awkward situation. I don't want to embarrass you or your child ever. My goal is for you guys to have a great year, and I want it to go really positive and smoothly for you. So I would strongly encourage / beg and plead that if you do owe any fees before you send your kid to school, that you contact finance and take care of that immediately. Justin, does that answer the question?
It definitely does. And I want to add on to that as well. On the screen, you will see the email for finance. We are here to work with you. We value you. We want you here at our school. So if you need to work out any payment arrangements, you want to set up a payment schedule to settle any of your fees, please email us. Finance will definitely get back to you, or feel free to come into the school and we can set up a meeting. Preferably, if you can, set up a meeting first, because it is busy. We're trying to get school started very soon, but we are here to help with you. So just please work with us, and by contacting us and let us know your situation, we're going to be here to help you as best as we can. All right. So thank you, Mr. Mark, for that. The next subject that we're going to go to is after school activities. And so I think, Mr. Mark, you can talk about it on behalf of both lower school and upper school in terms of after school activities and kind of the expectation of when those registration forms will be out to parents. So can you take it away, Mr. Mark?
I can take it away. I just can't take it away all that far, because the best people to answer that would be Mr. Jordan and Mr. Gregory. Having said that, my guess is they're not going to take it that much farther than I would, and we'll probably say something along the lines of, we know that's important. We will start them as soon as possible. We will have ASAs like we do every year. And we will get that information to you and your students as soon as possible. It most assuredly will not happen that first week.
Yeah, the main component for all of this, and the reason we don't have an answer, is the ASA coordinators, the people who organize that. They're not actually back yet from their summer vacation. They're back next week, but it's usually 2 to 3 weeks into the school year, and that's when they anticipate the ASAs and the sports teams to come.
Yeah, behind the scenes to set up the ASAs, there's a phenomenal amount of work that goes on behind the scenes, setting that up before we send anything to parents. It requires collaboration from every single staff member, every single teacher, and then it goes through the coordinator, as Mr. Gregory said, and it just takes some time. We know it's important. What I can say is the setup for ASAs. We are going to be offering them again Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, from 2:30 until 3:15. The only change for elementary this year is that rather than 3 unique terms of ASAs, we're going to be doing 2 longer extended terms. For me, I think that benefits you and your kids. It allows them to get into specific activities and clubs in more in depth. They spend more time in the things that they like. It also means that there's one less sign-up period that you need to keep track of as a parent. But really, other than that, it's about the same. We will continue to ask that you only sign up for 2 activities for elementary school in order to give all students an opportunity to participate. And as soon as we get the behind-the-scenes stuff done and set, then we will get those sign-up forms out to parents as soon as possible.
Thank you for the context that you all provided. Obviously, I know a lot of the answers because I set up the live stream, but the context is important for our parents because sometimes you may not know why it takes 3 weeks or 4 weeks, for something to happen. So it's important. And thank you for Mr. Gregory and Mr. Jordan for explaining kind of the process of why it takes a little bit of time for the after-school activities. I do have one question on behalf of the families. Is there a limit on how many after-school activities a child can register for lower school and upper school, or is there no limit for that?
I think it's 2, even for us as well. I have to ask the ASA coordinator to double check. I think there's a little bit of flexibility a week or 2 into the ASA program in upper school if there's a course that needs a few more students, if you're willing to join that. But at the beginning, initially, it's because we want to make sure that every student gets a chance to take 2. And if there's some students who take all of them, it just fills up and it limits opportunities for other students.
Yeah.
For us, it is a firm 2. Especially this year, we will definitely be enforcing that because, again, we're only offering 2 different terms. So if you don't get into any activities in that first term, you have to wait until January to sign up for another round. And that's a long time to wait without activities. So we really do ask that everyone limit to 2. If you do sign up for more, then you'll be contacted by the ASA coordinator asking you to weed out 1 or 2 that you may not want to do. But yeah, it's 2 activities.
All right. Thanks for the clarification, everyone. That really helps. The next subject will be sports. Our beloved Mr. Romero is not on this live stream. He's actually been here since the first day. I think the school has been in service. So he's not here, obviously, at the moment for this live stream because it's only SOT. But for sports, obviously, we do have sports programs in our school. Not in any order or not by season, but we do have soccer, football, basketball, volleyball, badminton, track and field, and netball. These are some of the main sports in our school. Sporting activities, right? They start from grade 2, I believe, Mr. Jordan, right? I think grade 2 starts the sporting activities all the way up until grade 12. And the only question I have for you guys as principals is, do you know when we might have tryouts or traditionally when those tryouts really happen for the first term?
My part's quick, and Eamon, I'll kick it over to you. But traditionally in elementary school, we haven't had official sports teams. We have clubs, we have activities. That is something that we're looking forward to getting into, is to have an actual 4th and 5th grade boys football team. It is something that we're in talks with Mr. Romero as well as our elementary PE team to see if that's a possibility. And so we'll keep parents in the loop on that. At the moment, since those programs do not exist, we will not be having tryouts until further notice. If we are able to bring that program into being this year, then we will let parents know and we'll have open tryouts.
Yeah. And then once you get up into upper school in the 6 through 12 program, there is a tryout period for 1 week. That's usually before the ASA program starts. So we believe in competitive sports teams. In the 6 through 12 program, we really want to compete. And we've got the limit. For example, I had the under-19 football team last year, and I know I had 62 students try out for the under-19 football team. I only picked 20. So it's a little bit tough. It's a bit of a life lesson for a lot of students. But that's what we have, and that's what we do here. I know at the moment there might be a little bit of a delay on certain sports that will happen outside, as there's going to be some renovations on the pitch. So the football, which usually starts in September, might start in October, as we wait for those renovations to be completed. It's also very hot in September. So even if we did have training outside in September, it's quite limited, with a lot of water breaks. So, but yeah, that's pretty much.
All right. Thank you for the information. I know everyone's looking forward to sports teams. We got to keep the momentum for the women's basketball teams, our soccer team, our boys basketball team. We got some athletes coming in this year as well. So I'm pretty excited for what we have going on in the sports program. All right. So the next topic is back to school night. So back to school night is a wonderful time. It's like a open house for parents that are in the school, and you get a chance to meet your teachers and see the facilities, talk to the principals. It's just a really festive event and a fun time. What is not is a time for one-on-one meetings. It's not a time for one-on-one meetings at that moment. It's really just a time to get an overview of what's going on and be pumped and excited for what's going to happen for the rest of the school year. All right. So we do have a save the date for the back to school night, which will be, I think, Tuesday, September 12th. I think it's a Tuesday, I'm pretty sure. The time frames, I don't know. So Mr. Mark, may you help us with the time frames if you know that, or we're going to send that information later on in an email.
Yeah, we'll definitely send that information later on. I apologize to the parents. I know there's a few things that we've said that about. We always debate. We will have all this ironed out and ironclad by next Thursday. But school starts on Sunday. And so parents often want information earlier. And so we decided that we would do a live stream this Thursday to get all that information, as much of that information to you as we can. But as Mr. Gregory pointed out, our first day on staff for our returning teachers is next week. And so we'll have lots of meetings to flesh all these things out, because we're an inclusive school and we want to do things collaboratively with our staff and let them have some input. So as those things come together, we will be sending detailed information about it next week.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mark. Just as a reminder, before I go into the next subject, for everyone who has been waiting for the questions to be answered and things like that, then we'll be able to answer those questions at the end of the live stream. Okay, so we're almost there. Okay, for everyone who had questions in the comments, for things for us to address, we're almost there. So give us a couple more subjects. Inshallah, we'll be there to answer those questions. All right. So without further ado, the next topic, admissions, right? Missing QIDs and documentation. So you heard Mr. Mark talk about the pending fees and also the importance of paying term 1 fees before we start school. What's also equally important is QIDs for students to have to legally start school in our campus. Okay. So without student QIDs, we cannot have the students start school on campus. This is a legal mandate from the MOE. And so therefore, this is why we are letting you know this information. So if you have any documentation to send to admissions or to provide for admissions, it's important that you A, either come into the school, or B, you have the email address to our director of admissions here, Ms. Seema Hamadne. So this is her email address if you ever want to send the copies of the QIDs or any missing documentation that's needed. You can also send it to her directly. Okay, so this is very important for the QIDs. We need that for students to start in the school. And this is also a perfect time to ask the principals, if a student does not have a QID by the time they start school, what is maybe a plan or a focus for those students until they start? Do you have any information on that?
That one I'd have to get back to you, Justin. It's one of those really difficult situations. If they don't have a QID, what we can give them access to. A lot of the upper school program is built into there's online subscriptions and stuff that, you know, we can't really give out until the student's enrolled. There are some resources that we can get to that student, and I can give them context and ideas, and maybe even make a mock schedule for them so they would have an idea of what subjects at least they'd be taking once they start. Obviously save their space in the schedule, so that as soon as they get that sorted, they can start straight away. And then sometimes we've organized the access to Google Classrooms and whatnot. There is a few things we're just limited legally that we can't do. So it is a tough situation, but thankfully it's happening less and less, and usually it's solved quicker and quicker. In the previous years that I've been here, I know like 8 years ago when we started, we had some students with those issues that lasted the entire year. Now I've seen students maybe only in that situation for 3 to 4 weeks, and so yeah.
Yeah, my response is very similar. You know, it depends on, for us, a lot of it does depend on the age of the child as well. The older the child is, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, we can maybe supply them with some resources. But if it's a very young child, early years, KG2, grade 1, there's really limited things we can do. You know, we'll do our best to get some resources in the hands of parents, so the kids are at least feeling like they're involved. But it's hard. It is a hard situation, and we sympathize with the families that are going through that and having those difficulties.
Yeah, it is difficult. We have many families that every year are coming from overseas and going through that process and things like that. And you know, we do have a government relations executive who gives us insight to the ministry in terms of what we can do and can't do in these situations. So there's always someone behind the scenes fighting for you to see what we can do to get you processed as soon as possible. But but legally, we just cannot have students start, and we don't have an online program, right? Because we have so many resources going on campus, right? Brick and mortar, that we just don't have the bandwidth for an online program to support. But as Mr. Gregory said, we always, every single year, do everything that we can to support families that are waiting for the QIDs for their students. So just wanted to let you all know that. But if you do have it, please give it to us as soon as possible so we can make sure that you can start school right away. All right. So for the next, yes.
Justin, can I just jump on that and just mention that you started to talk about it a little bit, but the idea that this isn't an us rule, this isn't a GEMS rule, it's not a GAAQ rule, this is a local government rule. Having said that, I'm not saying that to say anything bad about the local MOE or their processes. I simply say that this isn't unique to GAAQ. This happens at every school in the country. And because it happens every year, while we recognize how stressful and difficult and frustrating that is for you as parents, we assure you we're not going to let it have a negative impact on your kid's year at GAAQ. Your child, I promise you, if you're in that zone, is not the first kid who has gone through that at our school or in this country. Our staff are familiar with it. We recognize whenever they come, whether it's in middle of October, November, December, that they're going to be behind and they will have missed some school, and we will work with them on that. It is not going to happen. We will not let that have a negative impact on their year. They will have a good year and they will be successful regardless of that QID situation.
Thanks, Mr. Mark, for that. Appreciate that. We're going to move on to the next one. We have a couple of other subjects left before we get into the Q&As from the parents. For summer hours and August Sundays. So right now we're at the end of this week. So this week we're open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. for any uniform purchases or paying for fees and things like that. Next week, on the 20th, it will start from 7 o'clock to 3:30. We will be available. We will be in the building to help you with any type of uniforms or fees that you have to pay for. This Saturday, I repeat, this Saturday, August 19th, we're actually open as well from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Please use that time wisely because you can get in front of everyone before school starts to make sure your fee payments are done and to also pay for your child's uniform. We use these dates, for you, and we open it up for you so you can get ahead of it because you don't want to come in on Thursday or the Sunday that school starts to try to do all these things. It might be pretty complicated, right? You want to get ahead of the curve. So we do have Saturdays that are going to be from the 19th. We also have the 26th of August. That's going to be available on a Saturday for you to come in from 9 to 1. And then our last Saturday for you will be Saturday, September 2nd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. as well. So please, please, please make sure you use that time wisely and come see us next week. We'll be open. All right. So come check us out. All right. And so the last thing, I'll keep it short, but want to talk about discounts. A lot of our families talk about discounts or talk about ways to help with tuition and things like that. So there are a couple ways. I did outline this in the email that I sent to parents, but there are a couple ways to look at it. So number one, we do have what we call a refer a friend discount. A lot of our families use this discount. So what simply happens is if I'm a family of GAAQ and I have another family that's interested and they have a kid in their family and that kid wants to come to our school. If that kid is referred by me and my name is written down in the admissions documents that I referred them and he or she, passes the assessment, then I would be able to be eligible for 4% tuition discount. All right. And that's each time I refer. So it is an unlimited program in a sense that I can refer anytime. So if you like the school, you believe in the school, and you think other families can benefit from the school, then I would suggest that you will let them know of our events, our programs, going on tours at the school. And then if they put your name down in the admissions process, you will be eligible for 4% discount each time that happens. Okay. So that's one of the ways that happens all the time. And it's a way for us to say thank you for referring other families to GAAQ. Okay. The second way is tuition discount. So we are able to work with several companies in Qatar for corporate agreements. And based on those corporate agreements, we have established a 10% tuition discount. And so if you're looking to maybe refer someone to the school, the following companies also, they get 10% tuition discount once they enroll in our school. So we're looking at Al Jazeera Media Network, Aspire, Hamad Medical Corporation, Manai, Microsoft, MOPH, or Ministry of Public Health, Naufor, or Redo, Primary Health Care Corporation, or PHCC, Qatar Airways and its subsidiaries, Qatar Energy and many of its subsidiaries, Qatar Foundation, and Sidra Medicine. Again, these companies, if you refer a family and they work at these companies, that family is also eligible for a 10% tuition discount when they become a family at GAAQ. All right. Another way is that we have tuition fees. If a family pays their entire tuition fee for their child before the start of the year, then they're going to get a 4% tuition discount on that child's tuition. Okay. So again, if you pay the entire fee for the year before the school starts, you're also eligible for 4% tuition discount. Lastly, we have a promotion for new families that want to come in for pre-K. If that family wants to enroll in our school for pre-K and that child is accepted into our program, they can also take advantage of a registration fee waiver. So anytime you come to our school, there's a registration fee if you're pre-K, KG1, KG2 of 3,200 Riyal. So for this promotion for pre-K families only, if they want to come in and register and they get accepted into the school, their registration fee will be waived, right, for this school year. And so it's only a one-time fee, but that they will never have to pay that registration fee if they are registered. So that was a lot of information, but I just wanted to let you know some of the opportunities that are available to you or to people that you refer to our school. So hopefully that information has helped. Last but not least, all your patience has paid off. We are at the end of the live stream. So at this time, we're going to go look at some of the comments and address the questions that our parents and students have regarding the information for the start of school. So let me go to these questions. Now, some of these we may have answered, but I'm going to put them on the screen so at least it can remind some families if you caught the stream late. Okay. So first question for all of the staff here should be on the screen. From the 28th, will there be regular bus service? Correct? Okay, yes. On the 28th, there will be regular bus service. I think, Jordan, for the only caveat is that for pre-K and KG1, they are coming in from 8 a.m. to 10:30 on that Monday.
So, yeah, I mean, I can address that quickly. In the interest of easing our early years children into their new daily schedule. We recognize that it's a stressful time for them and for you all as their parents, the first couple of weeks of school. So what we try to do is a bit of a staggered start. If your children ride the bus, and this is again pre-K, KG1, if they ride the bus as normal. They will be entering the building with the bus conductors. The bus conductors will be bringing them right to their classes. That's fine. If you are bringing your children to school, we are opening the gates at 7:10 as usual. If you have a child in pre-K or KG1, we ask that you kind of hold them with you for just a little while. We want to let the rush of students die down so that when we do allow you to bring your pre-K and KG1 kids to class, it's just a bit more of a calm atmosphere. It's a stressful time for kids that age and for you all. So if they're a car rider, if you're bringing them to school, we ask that you just kind of hang out with them for a little bit and then bring them into their classrooms once the initial rush has died down. But bus riders, nothing's changed. So they will come to school at the normal time, and they'll go to class with the bus conductor.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. Much appreciated. All right. So the next comment is from Anastasia. And Anastasia, hopefully you received our response on Facebook. I saw your comment on there earlier today. Hopefully you received that as well. But her question is, what time should grade 6 new student come on the 27th? If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Gregory, Mr. Wessel, that is at 7:30?
7:30.
Okay. All right. Simple enough. All right. Next comment from our very own Miss Tiffany Norman, or Tiffany El Rafai. She was a principal at our school for a couple years before. Also had students in our school as well. And it's great to see this team back in action for the new school year. Sending our kids to GAAQ was the best decision that we made. The admin and teachers are incredibly supportive and really helped all 3 of my children thrive academically and personally. Have a wonderful year. And I would say she's in the U.S., so I don't know what time it is over there right now, but really appreciate, Tiffany, you coming through and giving us that comment. And congratulations on everything that you're doing. You're doing a wonderful job. All right, so let's go on to Yusuf. Can we wear white shoes? Mr. Gregory, I'm gonna come to you on that one. Can we wear white shoes to school?
Yusuf knows the answer to that question, and the answer is no.
Yes.
Black shoes.
Black shoes, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes. Black
And that's
shoes.
all the way down through pre-K. That's school-wide, elementary included, black shoes for all students.
Yep. There we go. All right. Miriam says hello. Hi to you as well, Miriam. Hope your summer was well. And her question was, what about the new staff? And so, Miriam, I will say this on that question, and I'll let the principals go ahead. Next week, you'll see on social media some of the profiles of our new staff that are coming in this year. So you'll be able to check out social media on our Instagram and Facebook. You will see some of the new faces and new places that they're coming from. And the principals, what do you have to say about your new staff?
They're great. We're excited. Honestly, if we were to sit here and introduce every single member of our new member of our staff, we'd be here for another 2 hours. And so, in the interest of wrapping this up, we're just going to say that we are excited about our new teachers. We hope that you are as excited as we are, and you'll meet them very soon.
Yeah. All right. Next comment here. Can we change the class section in grade 6? Welcome, Saad. How are you doing? Can we change the class section in grade 6, Mr. Wessel?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what he's referring to, but in the first week or so of school, if there are any changes that need to be made or students have requests, we can entertain those. We make changes to schedules based on what's best educationally for every student. Not necessarily, hey, my friends are over there, I want to be there, that kind of thing. So it's possible, but we do that with the best of the students in mind when we do.
All right. And then the next question here. Do you have additional English lessons for new students? My boys are not fluent speakers. They need help for adaptation. So principals, what can we say in terms of how we help with English acquisition?
It will depend on the grade level. There are support programs in place for students who are ELL, but it is very much dependent on whether, even if they're in middle school and high school, it varies, and that's completely different to what it would be in elementary. But that is definitely one. I would recommend that you reach out personally to either me or Mr. Jordan and have a meeting with us in the SST, and we can talk about that type of support.
All right.
Yeah, we have systems in place to work with students. The bulk of our students are not native English speakers. And so we have systems in place to help support them. It just depends on the needs of that particular student, what grade level they're in. And then we'll put a plan together.
All right. Thank you for that, everyone. This is an interesting question here. So Reem says, on the 27th, will there be canteen service for new upper school students?
Mr. Lenz?
You're on mute, I think.
Sorry. That is a very good question. I should have an answer, shouldn't I? I will go ahead and say yes. I will. I heard Eamon say earlier, I'll make that decision now. No one's asked me that. I haven't discussed it with anybody yet, but since you have asked, Reem, yes, Reem, there will be food for you. I will, and your children. I will make sure that happens.
Yeah, and one thing, I think that, we are probably not, I think we need to talk about the schedule for the day, because I think initially we had said that day is going to end at 12:30. So we'll have food, because Mr. Lentz is the boss and he says we're going to have it. But the schedule for that day is abbreviated, so they can go home and have a nice hot home cooked meal.
And Mark, while we're on the subject, in terms of if a family prepay for the month with the service this year, or do you require them to, maybe if they want to pay, just come every day and make a payment every day? How would that work for the canteen?
So the canteen will have a couple of options this year. There will be some prepayment options. So if all goes well, parents should be able to, the student can get their student ID card. We can connect the ID card to the purchasing system through the company, and there'll be a portal where parents can load money up onto the child's student ID card, and they can swipe that and use that to get what they want. I'm not going to do that with my kids because they'll spend all of it. So I will go with the other option that you mentioned, where they'll still accept cash. Or there's also this year going to be a pre-order system. So mommy and daddy can go in, pay that afternoon for what they want for the following day, and choose that, little Johann Lentz will be eating the chicken shawarma option with some healthy vegetables that he won't like. And I can pre-order all of that for him, pay for it. And when he gets to the canteen, they'll have all that ready with his name on it. Or if you prefer, you can do what you used to do and give your child some cash, and they'll still accept cash.
All right. It's nothing like having options, I say. So that's a good thing. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mark. Next question on the board. Do we need to buy some school stuff for school or homework, colored pencils, etc.? Principals? I know the answer, but if you could say what they would need for school year.
They're going to get a packet at the beginning of the year on orientation that'll have some coloring pencils, pens, some sticky pads, and a few, resources like that. So they'll all get that. And then once they sort of start into the classroom for us in upper school, which is going to be on the Tuesday of the first week, they'll have their first class. They'll get specific notebooks and, whatever, books or resources that are important to that specific class. For example, if you're going into the English classroom, it's an online resource. It's not like a textbook that you get in hand anymore. Most of the resources are going online. That's the trend in most education. So they'll get an access code and they'll join that. And then there is going to be still some subjects that you have a textbook in. They'll give them out during those classes or in the coming week. But all of that is taken care of during our orientation and the first few days.
Justin, if I can jump in on that one, it's a good chance for me to explain an area of confusion for some parents. In your fees, you'll have your tuition fees and different fees listed. One of them says stationary fee and books fee. I really want to get the names of those changed to resource fees. But I have to get that approved from the MOE. In several, I know there are still several schools in the country where what this person asked is still the case, where you would get a list of all the things your kids need, the different colored pencils, crayons, scissors, staplers, calculators, all those sort of things. And you would have to do what my parents used to have to do with me a billion years ago when I was in school. And you would go to the local store and your parent has to buy all those things for you. And you have this big kit of things you have to take to school with you. That's what's considered stationary. We don't ask that. You pay that fee. You don't have to go shopping. We give your kid everything he needs. And we're not going to ask you to provide anything from outside. That's what that fee is for. And as Eamon said, we've moved to online subscriptions. Online textbooks have a billion different reasons why they are better than old-fashioned paper textbooks. And there's a lot of literature out there to support that. So, but I will get asked sometimes, hey, I'm paying a book fee. My kid doesn't have an actual book. They have an online subscription that should say online resource fee. It is better for your child, I promise you.
Again, great context. I really appreciate that. It's really good to know these things, and the parents ask a lot what that is and what that entails. So I think all these answers really helped them at least set up for the first part of the year. So greatly appreciated, everyone. All right, so we're going to move on. Are the timings of school when we go into and leave school still the same? From my knowledge, yes, they're still the same. We start at 7:30. We end at 2:15. We are in early on Thursday at 1:30. If you're pre-K, KG1, you have early dismissal opportunity. So yeah, they really do stay the same. The only thing is that we're just waiting for school to start so we can exercise these school times. So, you have about one more week left, but yes, everything still remains the same. All right, so let's move on. So another question from Saad. So will we receive the ALMA details by the 27th of August? Principals, I'll leave it to you. When will the parents receive ALMA details to either register or to change their username or password, things like that?
I check with Shubhana, who's our lovely IT manager. She will usually send out a new email to all of the parents, and it's literally an email with a link that you click, and then you get signed in and you get access. I think it will probably be in around the 27th. If it doesn't happen and you have issues in the first week, anytime you can pop in, or if you shoot us an email, we can get you access. I'm sure you can get access right now, but there's no real point because there won't be anything on it as the school year hasn't started. But I think it's the 27th. But that's actually, it's a good question and a common concern that comes up in the year. So I'm going to double check.
Okay. Jordan, anything on your end on that or no?
No, not really. Our parents don't typically have ALMA access. We don't do our grading online. Our grading system in elementary is completely different from secondary. So there won't be any ALMA details sent home.
Yep. Thanks for that clarification. I'll move forward. So this one is for me, everyone. So want to book a test date, have called several times, dropped an email, but not receiving a reply. That is unlike us, but we are very busy at the moment as well. So Miriam, if you're still on the live stream, this is my email address here. Please drop me a line. I'll make sure that you get your admission test, or I'm assuming you're saying admissions test. I'll get the admissions exam scheduled for you, and we'll make sure that we'll move you forward from there. Also, I have your name down already. I was writing it down just a second ago. I'll make sure that our admissions team will respond to you so we can move you forward through the admissions process. So hopefully, if you're watching, you're listening to this information now. All right. If not, I still got you. We will respond to you very soon. All right. So let me move forward to the next question. We have a lot of questions still here. Here we go. So Zarissa, I believe that's what it is. Zarissa says, as a new student, Sorry about that. It's lagging right now. As a new student, when do we get the school books and stationaries? So principals.
For elementary,
All
you'll
that's-
get that on the first day. You'll get that when you go to your homeroom class. Your classroom teacher will give everything to you that you need.
Yep, and on the first day and in the first weeks, as the teachers need you to have the things that you need, you'll be getting them. So it's no need to worry. Stationary packs first day. Books will be handed to you by the teachers when you need them, as well as the online things that Mr. Lentz and Mr. Gregory referred to.
All right. Thank you for the questions, Arissa. Hope we answered it. Anastasia has another question for us as well. How about sibling discount, or if you refer families with 2 kids? So the sibling discount is not created from us. It is approved by corporate. You have to have 4 children to be eligible for tuition discount for siblings. So that is something that is a GEMS corporate thing at this time. If you are looking into referring a family with 2 kids, it's important for that family to put your name down. If they pass the assessment, to put your name down during the registration process. And if they do, then you'll be eligible for 4% discount and then another 4% discount. So that's typically how that will work. But they have to be able to put your name down or identify you throughout the registration process as a family who referred them. So hopefully that helps, Anastasia. Rania, thank you. You're always a supporter. I think if I had an award for the school, you'd be one of the top 3 for our #1 fan. You're always supporting us. Really appreciate you. Always appreciate you. All right. So Ms. Lima, do 12th grade students work on their SATs? So Mr. Gregory, I'll let you respond to that one.
We do PSATs in grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, and grade 11. So they're the practice SAT exams. SAT, there isn't a specific course. There might be an after-school activity where they can practice the SATs, and there might be a teacher who's interested in offering that. Again, that depends on student interest and whether we have a teacher who can do it. But the SAT is just an exam that they can sign up and take. We're not a test center yet for the SAT exam, but it is something that we've been thinking about joining and adding onto school campus. But yeah, so I don't know if that really answers that question, but it's all I got.
No, it's all good. You answered how you need to answer it. That was a good answer, so no worries. All right. So for the sake of time, I'm gonna reduce it now to 5 minutes for the remaining questions. Okay. So for the sake of time. So next question here is from Sundus Khan. Welcome. Hello. What are the timings on pre-K for the 28th? Did you say 8 to 10:30? Mr. Jordan?
We did. So again, if your child rides the bus, they'll be here a little earlier. But if you are a car rider, we ask that you bring them in a few minutes later just to avoid the rush. We are doing an early dismissal at 10:30, just so to because again, it's going to be a long day. It's a big transition for them. So pre-K, first day of school on the 28th is 8 to 10:30.
All right. And then the second question. Can you specify what type of black shoes for pre-K? Are they available in school when we come to buy the uniform, or can we buy them from anywhere?
No, the school does not sell any shoes. So you are on your own to buy shoes for every grade level. You can buy them from anywhere. Our recommendation, again, they have to be black. We have students that come in with white trimmings and white highlights on the shoes, and that's okay, but they need to be recognizable as black shoes. Especially at that young age, pre-K, KG1, they are on their feet running around all day, so they should be something that's comfortable for the kids to wear, please.
Right. All right. So next question from Saad. Do you check regularly the kitchen of the company who provides food? Mr. Mark, can you address this question, please?
The kitchen that provides food? I want to make sure I understand the kitchen. Do you check regularly? Do we check it? Yeah. There's we have health inspections all the time. We haven't had any health concerns with our current provider whatsoever. We are honestly looking at another provider at the moment, not because of any health concerns whatsoever, but the new provider that we're looking at is a little more eco-friendly and has a little bit more diverse menu, and we're doing something we do every year. We're shopping around to make sure our kids are getting the best dollar for value in our canteen. But any provider we have will be scrutinized regularly. And we do actually have, I can't remember the name of it, but there's like a certified health inspector that comes in to check the food.
All right. So hopefully that answers Saad's question. Thank you so much, Mr. Mark. So only a couple of questions left. Abiha said, "Oh, welcome, Abiha. Hope your summer was well." Said, for canteen food, will there be options to pay by card? Mr. Mark, are there options to pay by card this year? Amazing. We're breaking through. I like that. I like that. So that's cool. So Abiha, hope you're happy about that one. Follow-up question from Abiha. Shoot me. This is another one here. When will we receive our schedule on Alma? So Mr. Gregory, you have insight on that.
27th. It'll be available on Alma.
Okay, cool. Youssef with another question as well. When does school start? And is the schedule for summer shorter because of the heat? So
the building's aircon, so it's lovely and cool inside right now. So yeah, we'll survive inside for the full day and full hours. Yeah.
We'll be more than okay for sure. Yeah. So no problem, Miss Lima, no problem at all. And then last question from Miriam: pre-K and KG can wear any color shoes? Nope. As we said before, black shoes are everyone. Pre-K to grade 12. All right. Everyone will have to wear black shoes, and we do not offer it in our uniform store. All right. I believe that is it. Wow, that was a long live stream. How's everyone feel?
I'm still jet lagged.
Right? Yes. Some people are still jet lagged. Some people just had a long orientation day. You all have been involved in orientation with the kids. I mean, not the kids, but the teachers for the preparation of the kids. So I know you guys are really tired, but we're going to get you out of here. All right. One thing I will just say for everyone, thank you for attending today. I was encouraged by the numbers that I saw on the live stream. Keep in mind that if you missed anything, it will be recorded on YouTube and also on Facebook as well. So don't worry if you didn't come during this time now live, it will be recorded. There's nothing else I really want to say, but said have a great Thursday and even a better weekend. All right. And then check out the email that I sent to you. And if you didn't receive it, your spouse probably received it on your behalf. All right. So make sure you bug your spouse to check out the email that I sent yesterday. Ma salama. Have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing your beautiful faces soon. Inshallah. Have a good one, everyone.